Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay, I'll make you co-host.
Yeah, say leave meet. No, okay.
Hmm.
All right. I'm the co-host. Boy. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to this meeting, Border and Justice Migration. As usual, we have a lot of information to share with you today, some things that I hope you will find interesting. I am the co-host, so that's really cool. So we will get started with check-ins. Anne, you want to start us off? This is just to make sure y'all are paying attention, right? Anne, are you there? Maybe she's muted. All righty. Well, if that's not going to work, how about you, George? You want to check in? How you doing?
Hi, I'm George Friday, Southern Piedmont branch. I'm in Shelby, North Carolina. I'm program um, committee chair, and this has been a really relaxing day so far. Even though I've had two Zooms, but it's better than yesterday, which we did have a 3 hour board meeting. That was pretty good. It wasn't longer. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Sounds great. How about you, Tina?
Yes, my name is Tina Shelton. I am outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Philadelphia, not the Mississippi one. Been reading about that this week, those anniversaries. And I am happy to be here as well. Take care.
All righty then. Teresa, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm driving. So I will be as careful as I can. I went to Tuskegee today at the invitation of a jazz artist who plays at church. He's a musical director. And so he's going to help me find SARN board members in Alabama. And so I spent quite a few hours there meeting a lot of nice Alabama folks. I'm back in Columbus and looking forward to the school board meeting tomorrow where I will be speaking. And life is very, very busy as we continue to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Southern Anti-Racism Network. And Tina, I will get back with you, or you can get back with me about the ad because the deadline hard is June 26th. Thank you.
All right. This leaves Anne and myself. Anne, are you there yet? Hola, Anne. Calling Anne. You're muted. All right. Well, when Anne comes and joins us, we can do a check-in or not. My name is Adrian Bernal, Adrian Bernal in English. I am very happy to be a member of this committee. I am a journalist with WRFG 89.3 FM in Atlanta, Georgia. And I do a show on Saturday. The stuff that I'm going to share with you today, we did not cover yesterday. My show is called Beyond Borders, the people of the Caribbean and Latin America today. And we cover all sorts of issues. But so, Anne, are you there yet? I'm very happy today. It's been very rushing. I am at my friend's house and Mauricio. We're going to have a casa party here at 7. So everything is good. It's wonderful. Very, very, very busy. So you all can relate, I'm sure. All righty then. So I guess I'll get started with my part. I think I'll only take 15 minutes and then we can have questions. It's 5:12 right now. But the things I wanted to cover is for this Border Justice meeting, I have 4 articles. We'll start off a little fluffy, and then we'll get into the really meaty stuff. This information is coming from several really reliable sources. TruthDig, you probably know TruthDig, The Intercept, and ScheerPost. and the other is just from my hometown. But okay, so we'll get started. This one is about shelter. This is the fluffiest story of all. I put the links in the chat so y'all can have them. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the story of these stories, and I encourage you to go in there and look for them. The first story talks about how shelters, both on the U.S. side and the Mexico side, and it talks about how many times the people who are coming to the United States, may they be asylum seekers or they're looking for a better life, and they stay at these shelters, and sometimes it could be months before they get out. Sometimes they want to make a little money. Mexico's been very good about hiring them, and Mexico has done an incredible job at trying to get people to stay in their countries. They have made donations to those countries. They have started programs like the ones that they have in Mexico, called Sembrando Vida, or Sowing Life, where they pay people to plant trees, and that's pretty good. And then when they get to Mexico, sometimes they put them on buses to get them to the border. When they're here, sometimes they have to wait to get across and do the paperwork. Those are the shelters in Mexico. In Texas, there's also some shelters, but the right wing cheek of the party, they are trying to shut them down because the conservative Texas government wants to shut these shelters down, and they're mainly run by Catholic or religious organizations. Catholic Ministries is one of them. But this is a good article. It shows you pictures of what it's like to be over there. In this first article, is a Truthstick article about inside migrant shelters, because it's a little fluffy. Next, I want to go over the meat of this conversation. We're talking about Biden's new policy for people who are coming to get in the country. And the point of this article is that Biden just passed a law that said that, and I'll quote here, once the average number of daily encounters has reached 2,500 between legal ports of entry, which has been consistently the case since Biden took office in 2021, requests will be reopened 2 weeks after the daily average falls under 1,500 for 7 consecutive days. And this is the restrictions that went into effect on June 4th. And this is a very confusing to me. I don't understand because they say once we get 2,500 between legal ports of entry, does that mean in all ports of entry or at one port of entry? And then it says that they will reopen 2 weeks after the daily average falls under 1,500 for 7 consecutive days. So it's very confusing, but be that as it may, the important thing is that this order has some exemptions for unaccompanied minors, those with acute emergencies, severe trafficking victims, and those are people that have been, can prove that they have been trafficked, and also for people who have made appointments with the Customs and Border Protection app. Now, this app can take months to be approved, and but this is what they're using for some of the countries that they want to keep folks out. Those who can show immediate probability of imminent and extreme threat to life or safety, such as grave persecution, rape, kidnapping, torture, or murder. These are the exceptions. And the Homeland Security noted that the plan demands a, quote, new, substantially higher standard that there is a reasonable probability. And this standard is higher even than under Trump's 2018 asylum ban. Migrants who are expelled under this order will receive a minimum somebody mute yourself, please. Will receive a minimum 5-year ban on re-entry to the U.S. and potentially will be criminally prosecuted. Now, this author and scholar, an activist and scholar on border imperialism, Harsha Walia, told the Intercept that it was under President Bill Clinton and Barack Obama that an entire immigration enforcement apparatus was established to increase criminalization, detention, deportation, and militarization. Well, they have said the very bipartisan agenda of detaining and deporting and terrorizing migrant communities. Now, we should recall it was in 1994, the very same year that Clinton signed the North America Free Trade Agreement, the Free Trade Agreement. The Army Corps of Engineers began to fence the U.S.-Mexico border. The neoliberal agenda deal further eviscerated Mexico's poorest, producing displacement and migration. All right, who's making noise? I don't know, maybe Teresa. All right, we'll catch it next time. Okay, so it was Mexico's poorest, reducing displacement and migration. The U.S. militarized the border in preparation. So this had started under Clinton in '96. They knew that this was going to do it because of the free trade agreement. What was it called? The NAFTA. Yeah, NAFTA, NAFTA. And Obama, he relied on the pernicious, racist, classist narrative of only targeting dangerous criminal migrants. But that rightly doubled, and they called him the deporter in chief because he deported 3 million people. So in summary, this is a democratic legacy, hardened borders, the criminalization of migration, the willingness to condemn thousands of people to death through deterrence. This is the necropolitical management of migrants fleeing political and economic turmoil, often as a result, and I'd say more than often, primarily as a result of decades of ruinous U.S. interventions in Central America. Now, Biden's executive order itself is not a shift from his only policy record. A war on immigrants is the norm under his administration, from the expedited expulsion of thousands of Haitians in 2021 to his blanket policy in early 23 to immediately eject asylum seekers from Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua who crossed the border into Mexico without having properly applied for asylum on the app. Sorry, you didn't use the app, you got to go back. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement increased the use of solitary confinement for thousands of detainee migrants. And just a little comment on that. We'll take questions later, but so you can see here that although they really, even in this article, and the links are in the chat, even though they really demonized Trump, and I'm not defending him, but it's not a one-way street. This is something that Clinton started. You'll recall that when he built that border, it made people go across to the more mountainous areas of Mexico to get across. And people died. And, you know about the people that are in Arizona, and they will go out and put water out for these people so they could survive, especially with this heat now. That's a big deal. But anyway, so this is a bipartisan thing, the Democrat and Republican. All right, so that last line there, it said that thousands of U.S. immigration and custom enforcements have increased the use of solitary confinement. Now, here's the next article, and this one talks about how this is the one with the one from Sheer Post. Harry Shear is an excellent journalist. Totally recommend the Sheer Post if you don't already subscribe. But it says on a given day last year, an estimated 55,000 to 62,000 people had spent the previous 15 days in solitary confinement in state and federal prisons, often in cells smaller than a parking space. Think about that. Hundreds of physicians and other health professionals are demanding the Biden administration end the use of solitary confinement in immigrations and customs enforcement prisons. The letter comes after reports of multiple suicide attempts by immigrants incarcerated at a privately run ICE facility, which made national headlines. Now, Trump has pledged to round up and deport millions of undocumented adults and children, which would further clog already backlogged immigration courts and likely require a massive expansion of detention capacity in jails, prisons, and border camps. Note that. We'll get back to that. In an open letter to Biden, the top administration officials, 475 doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals pointed to the death of Charles Daniel as part of their appeal. A citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, Daniel was found dead in March while in solitary confinement at an ICE prison in Washington state. You probably remember that. Internal records show that he had been held in solitary for a total of 1,244 days. Okay, and that was in 2 different stints. The letter to Biden was organized by Physicians for Social Responsibility, which works with researchers at Harvard to produce, quote, Endless Nightmare. There's a link for that too. On a comprehensive report on solitary confinement in ICE facilities released in February before Daniel's death. The report found that ICE oversaw more than 14,000 solitary confinement orders between 2018 and 2023. The average duration of confinement was 1 month, with some immigrants were isolated for up to 2 years. The letter to Biden was organized by Physicians for Social Responsibility. Okay, we already said that. So yeah, that was the end of that. And so yeah, they're going to try to increase the number of people that they're going to put. It's going to clog the system. Oh yeah, so they're going to, everything runs because of money in this country. So guess what? They're going to have to pay to get a lot more prisons built. So this is not by chance. They're doing this on purpose. It's going to make their friends a lot of money. All right, so the last story I want to cover, you may have heard about this. A North Texas woman will serve 40 days in jail after pleading guilty to charges related to a racially charged tirade she directed in a group of Indian American women 2 years ago. A now viral video of the incident showed Esmeralda Upton of Plano, Texas, mocking the group for their accents, referring to them as curry-ass bitches and hurling punches at them. Upton pleaded guilty on Friday to 3 counts of assault and 1 count of making terroristic threats. According to the law firm that represents the victims, the charges and convictions included a hate crime specification under Texas law. Upton will serve her time at the Collin. Now get this, right? She's a white woman, sort of. She's Latina. She will serve her time on the weekends. Okay. She will serve her times on the weekends beginning July 19th. under a plea deal with the district attorney's office. Even so, the judge warned Upton that if she turned up late, even once, her time will be served consecutively. All right. So if you go to the site of this story, you will find the story. But one of the interesting things about this is that she tells the ladies, go home. We don't want you here. And I'll play it for you if I can. And she says, we don't want you. And he says, why are you against immigrants? She says, oh, I'm not against immigrants. I'm Latino. She said, but I was born here. I'm a Mexican American. And, you know, that's me too. I mean, my parents came from Mexico, both of them. I was born here. But this is what happens when you have people who are so angry and they believe all of the hype that migrants are the worst problem. And one of the stories it talks about how 58% of the people do not think that immigration is the worst problem. Only something like 20 some odd percent of Republican folks believe that the biggest problem in the US is illegal immigration. And we can talk about that in a minute. Let's see, how do I share my screen? Share screen, here we go. I'll push the button.
Look at the bottom of your down where chat is. You see participants. There you go.
Got it. All right, y'all. Here we go.
Okay. I'm the person who had the Zoom.
It took a while for it to start. Let's see here.
I defer to that altogether, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
Adrian, you have to share your sound. Down at the bottom, when you hit share screen, at the bottom of that, it'll say share audio.
But I can hear it.
I can't.
Oh.
If you stop sharing and then share again, you'll see
there's a little box to check that says share screen.
And in that box at the bottom of it, it says share audio. Let me see it. Share sound optimized for a video clip.
You're muted, Adrian.
All right, y'all could hear that?
So
No,
now we
sir.
don't see you sharing screen.
Okay, hold on.
Hit share screen. Make
It's
sure it's share
Hold
computer
on.
audio optimized. for
So
clip.
I've got
Okay.
participants share screen. And when I click on that, it says
Optimized sound.
basic. Oh, share sound. Good.
Yeah, that one.
Optimized for video clip. Cool. We'll do both of those. Excellent. Okay. And then we'll do share. And we want that one. We want this one actually. Oh, it says desktop. Okay.
It's not playing yet.
Uh,
Awesome.
Here it's coming.
Now it is.
let me see if you can hear this. You can still hear me, right? So
Yeah.
just listen to the anchor and the hatred in this woman's voice. If you can hear this, let me try playing it. Come on,
Hmm.
hold on. You can see my.
Mhm.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why, oh, these fucking Indians, they come to America because they want a better life. But they're obviously not living the great life in India. You are the one who's racist. Why do you make comments like that? You come from our country and you want. You just said you're Mexican. How does that make sense? I'm a Mexican American. I was born What here. Makes you think that we are not Americans? Born here? What makes you think that we are not? Because of the way you speak. Because I'm a Mexican American, but I speak to you. You're the one who came and talked to me. I'm talking with my friends. Like everywhere I fucking go, you Indians are fucking everywhere. If life was so great in India, why the fuck are y'all here? Turn your fucking camera off. I'm happy to talk.
We are
Turn it off.
And we are. She's.
No, why should I turn it off? You're the one who came and talked to me. I'm Mexican.
She's Mexican.
I'm Mexican. And I paid my fucking way here. What? Why would you come and talk to us and make a race on camera? Don't touch me. Don't touch me. You don't touch me. Talk to you. Oh my God, guys, record. She's hitting me. She's hitting me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, she's hitting me. She's hitting me.
Adrian.
You too, bitch.
Shut up. Do not. I did
All right,
not
you get
talk
the idea, right?
Yes, Adrian.
Yeah, Teresa.
Let me just say this. I appreciate your journalism, but the purpose of the Border Migration Justice Working Group, and it is a working group of advancing human rights, it is to come up with some ways that branches can advance a particular strategy for gaining border migration justice. And so I noticed that you do these reports, rather lengthy reports that are news reports, but we know the vitriol that's out there. And quite frankly, I think it's important that you brought up 1994, but to be able to link that with not only NAFTA, but that was also the year of the crime bill that Clinton signed and that Joe Biden advanced and was proud of it. It was the crime bill where Hillary Clinton called Black people predators and other awful things.
Yep.
So that 30 years ago, we were in a state where the attacks began to the point where the detention centers filled up and the prisons filled up, which is why we have the mass incarceration we have today. Let me finish, because my phone is at 5%, and I just arrived at home. So I want to say this so that the remainder of the meeting can be about what are we gonna do about it. And that is where I think BMJ, Border Migration Justice, is kind of missing the mark. And when we have the Advancing Human Rights umbrella meeting tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we will talk about the state of things, and I will be making a proposal for the use of money, because the housing justice work has some real potential, particularly here in Columbus with the Fannie Lou Hamer branch. So I just want you to use the rest of the meeting to talk about not just how awful and how prejudiced people are and that, but what are we going to do about it strategically?
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for that question.
Well, it's not a question.
Yes. So
no.
Adrian, let me continue.
No. It's direction.
You already.
No, it's direction, Adrian.
You already talked,
and I'm
Teresa.
saying this. I'm saying this as chair of AHR.
Yeah.
It's direction for you to come up with a strategic outlook for this working group. I'm gone.
Okay,
I'm gone.
Good. Yeah, I mean, you asked, what are we going to be doing about it? That's a good question. That was a good question. What are we doing about it? Yes, I am bringing up to you things that you probably haven't heard of. because you have to be aware of what the problem is before you can come up with the solution. But yeah, just right, what Teresa says. What are we going to do about these things? How do we stop them? I brought up, yeah, the stuff about the Biden administration and how the rules that they have started have made the situation worse. My point there was that the Democrats and the Republicans are not our friends. I know a lot of folks are very Democrats, but we see that this is not a solution. This is not what's happening. Thank you very much. That they're not the solution. The Democrats are not, and the Republicans are not. So what do we do about it? But you have to know that this is the problem, that it is Democrats as much as Republicans who are the problem. And the other story about what do we do? They're going to be building more ICE facilities, and they're going to be putting up more prisons. What do we do about that? Can we do an effort to stop them?
Adrian, Tina has her hand up, and I know that people can protest a facility in their state or in their town. If they propose to build one in your state or town, you can launch a campaign against that. But
That's
Tina
right.
has her hand up.
Tina.
Sure. Yeah, well, actually, I was going to say a little bit about a recent time when I was coordinating with local, it's called the Pennsylvania Immigrant Coalition, and which has something to do with your news reports. They created a report, and I was trying to link it in the chat, but they sent it to me as an attachment, and so I'll just have to send it to you all. And I don't have your email, so if you put it in the chat, I can send it to you. It's basically about the positive economic benefits that that immigrants bring to the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is one of the higher naturalized citizens populations, and in overall the census is dropping in Pennsylvania. So there's this like I forget how many, like 80-page report about that has been compiled by immigrant rights institutions. Coalitions to create this report. And so what I'm fine getting to my point, I was a part of a coalition, a group, sorry, where we went and tried to deliver that to our senators' offices. In both cases, Senator Fetterman and Senator Casey, we weren't allowed to go up because we didn't do the right form to request the meeting, and you couldn't just drop off. It's your senator's offices, but you can't just drop by. Citizens can't just drop by. But anyway, they are rescheduling that. I don't think I can be a part of the rescheduled meetings, but the report is fabulous. And it does grow out of our Wilf branch's work on Shut Down Berks, which is what George is referring to. And it was a family detention center that was successfully shut down, and now there are 4 in the state that we are going to start that's like a next step, is to start creating actions against those. Unfortunately, none of them are very, very close to the Philadelphia art, so we're probably going to be using multiple ways of creating creating actions against these. And I feel like there was one more point, but that will do for now. Sorry, thanks.
Great. Yeah, I'm putting in the chat that the group called the Cato Institute, it's a libertarian think tank, and for years, I'm talking since maybe 2012, maybe 2008, they have been saying the same thing. The immigration is good for the United States. And
Of
it's
course it is,
interesting.
yeah.
It's interesting because you've got Cato, who is a right-wing group primarily. They're Republican light,
Mm.
but they've been saying this forever. But yeah, you should use the app, just like with those immigrants that wanted to get into the border. If you don't use the app, you can't get to see the senators.
Right. Yes. That was,
But yeah.
we were going to their offices right after he made that announcement. The visit was planned ahead of time, but it fired up, it made it actually a little bit emotional. And one of the groups is CARE, which is advocates for Muslims in
Right.
America. And she just spoke very eloquently about how it was disrespectful for their staff to come down and meet us in a lobby instead of, taking us to a conference room. And it
Right.
was a good to be a part of that group.
So towards what, I don't know, any more comments, questions? Anne, have you ever joined us? You're just there. And she's probably going to watch the recording later or not. But what to Teresa's point, what are we going to do about this? I think that's a good question. We could propose, but then again, I was going to say protesting at ICE facilities. They do that, and at where Teresa is at the immigration facility there. But by that time, it'll be too late. They'll already be building them. I don't know. What other things can we do? That crazy woman at the end, she was something else, wasn't she? But how do we stop people from believing? Like I said, there was a poll that said that only 22%, 23% believe that immigration is the biggest problem. So that's good, I think. But that's what the right wing is going to be using to try to get elected.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be.
But I follow the president of Mexico very much, and his party only started 10 years ago, and within 4 years he became president. So I think that there's definitely a need for a party, another
Mexico
party
has a
here.
new president, a female president.
It'll be inaugurated October 1st. Yeah,
Oh, okay. October
but she's
1st.
the same, and she is the same party as AMLO.
Okay.
She's a fighter just like him. She organized her high school. Yeah, she was. She's incredible. She's going to be wonderful for Mexico, and for the people of Mexico, because that's the whole thing about López Obrador. When he was elected, he said, "For the good of everyone, the poor must come first." So anyway, yeah. So I think from what Teresa said, maybe we can do some sort of a presentation as to what we think would be a good thing for us to suggest, or an action that we could do. And I guess we're looking nationwide or in our own localities. Any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We either join with groups that are doing something nationwide. I know Americans Family United, and there's a few others that I follow, or focus on groups that are active in our local localities.
Right. Anybody else have any questions or ideas?
Where are you, Anne?
Where are you, Anne? Anne, we can hear her banging around. That's her.
I'm in San Diego.
San Diego.
Oh, there she is. Good. What are y'all doing over there for immigration?
Well, I just did a book on refugee women, and here in San Diego, we have a new exhibit of refugees at our civic center. And each of the libraries, well, as many as I know about, are featuring refugees, pictures of refugees. Some are in my book. So it's been pretty exciting. So I'll be visiting as many of our public libraries as possible to really applaud these women and men who are being showcased.
Is it part of, I know I just got one from Indivisible that's doing the same thing. Is it kind of a nationwide?
I think it probably started because June 20th was World Refugee Day.
Okay, yeah.
And so our exhibit was actually revealed and applauded starting on the 22nd, yesterday,
Hmm.
or the day before.
All right, cool.
And tell us about your book.
Yes.
The book is titled Tears of War, and I interviewed 37 women, and their stories are just phenomenal. These women are so productive in our community, and what a loss to their particular communities. The women come from 15 different countries, and so I felt compelled to write a short history of that particular country for each of the chapters. So it was a totally enlightening experience for me to not only interview these women, but to write their stories and to write the histories of their countries. And it's just appalling to me that none of the wars have resulted in anything particularly good. So we need to stop wars immediately. Stop them.
Well, it was really good for the financiers and the military industrial complex. It's all about the money.
Yes.
That is good for them.
Yes, the CEO of Raytheon once gave a speech, and he said, "We don't want to be in the war industry, but that's where the money is."
I love it.
Yeah.
And all of the billions that they're giving to the folks in Ukraine, something like 80, 60, 70, 80% of it is not for Ukraine. It's to buy weapons that they've used or sent over there.
Yeah.
So it's the big give me for the military industrial complex.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Unbelievable. Well, thanks for doing that. I wish I knew how to get a hold of your book.
I just put it in the chat.
Well, you can buy it
there it is.
You can buy it at Amazon.
You're going to put it where?
I put
Tears
it in,
of War.
oh yeah, it's also by Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble?
Barnes and Noble. Or,
Yes.
Tears of War. Excellent, Anne. That's wonderful.
Thanks, Anne, for telling.
Yeah, so I can't be at the meeting on Monday that Teresa was luring to. So I don't know if anybody else is going to be there. But yeah, I think she's got a good point. What are we going to do about it? And I think that was a question, even though she didn't like it by saying thanks for the question. But that's okay.
I'll be there, Adrian.
There you go. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's a great point. What can we do about it? Protest? Speak to our senators? That's useless. Protest? That's pretty useless too. I don't know. I heard a guy, he was interviewed on Jimmy Dore, if y'all follow him. And he was a guy from Scotland. And he talked about the right cheek and the left cheek of the same ass. We always talk about the right wing and the left wing of the same bird. But yeah, it's a pitiful state that our country's in. Anyway, well, that's all I got. And I'm at 26%, so my computer's going to shut down. Oh, that's a beautiful. Oh, hi, Anne. I see your picture there at the. I just clicked on the link.
We don't see it, but
click on the link.
Oh, a link.
Click on the link. Yeah,
The
click
book.
on the link, and you see all the people that you interviewed. What a great job, Anne. Thanks for doing that.
Great.
Thank you so much for doing
Thank
that.
you.
I'll get the recording out with chat tomorrow.
Okay.
As early as I can.
Hey, take your time.
Okay.
Nobody's going anywhere. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll see you next.
Yeah, you want to set the next meeting?
Yeah. Do you want to do the third? Let me see, the third Sunday. Teresa was saying something about that. Thought it was going to be the 3rd, not the 4th. It'd be July. 1, 2, 3 be the 21st. I got nothing going on. Okay. That'd be
July 21st.
order. Yes, ma'am. Order,
1, 2,
justice,
4,
migration.
Okay.
At 5 p.m. Sounds great.
Wait, July 21st? Is that what you're saying?
21st. Yes, ma'am.
George?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't we have something that weekend, a Wilf board.
Is it the board retreat?
Oh, no, next weekend. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
getting- Okay, yep, thank you.
Are you good? Are we
Yeah,
good?
we're good.
Excellent. All right. See y'all then. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.